What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. This is a pattern that I've been kind of playing with. I'm just calling it the rainbow bugger because I don't have any kind of catchy name for it yet. Unless it's been done already, then it is what it is. But it's just a woolly bugger using this hairline solid tinsel chenille in rainbow. Done one yesterday in gold, which looks pretty good. So being that I'm just playing around with it for right now. Materials will probably change. This is just what I'm doing at the moment. Thread is Hopper Yellow Uni Thread, I think. Ultra Thread and 140. The hook, I don't remember the number on it, but it is a 6 extra long, size 6. I have that matched with a silver 5/32 bead and about 7 wraps of 20 thousandths lead wire. I already got the thread started, so we're just going to move this all the way back. I'm hoping these will produce well. They look pretty good. Like I said, I might switch up materials as I go. At least color of the tail and the hackle. So right now I'm just using red marabou and a red hackle. And like I've said in other videos, it's easiest for me if I dip the feather in water. That way it makes it a lot easier for me to tie in without having to pinch it really tight and have the fibers going all over the place. So usually when I'm tying something with a lot of marabou, then I just have a little cup of water on my desk. With this size hook, I'm going to use 2 feathers, and I just match up their tips best I can. Not real crazy about this marabou. For this fly, it is woolly bugger marabou. So it's not really what I wanted for this, but it's what I have. I don't want it to spin. So the tail I'm trying to make about a hook length, and I'm going to wrap my thread forward and just help lock all this down so it doesn't spin on me. Now I'm going to clip these really thick part of the stems out, so I don't want them in there. I try to use the marabou to make a even underbody, but with the woolly bugger marabou, the stem gets really thick really fast, so it's not really ideal for doing these bigger flies with, but it doesn't look too bad. I'm gonna wrap my thread back some. About right there. Make sure this is all locked down really good. Try to smooth everything out. Probably not necessary, but it's just something I like to do. A little OCD about it. Next material is going to be this rainbow crystal flash. Just pretty neat looking. I'm going to lay this right on the side. I'm going to try to wrap it forward some while I'm holding it. And I've been doing about halfway. It seems to be working fine. I fold it over and start wrapping back. Trying to keep a good grip on it. And if you have to, you can, before you really cinch it down, you can give it a little tug to get it right where you want it. Then I'm going to go through again and just make sure everything's nice and neat and tied down. Next is a piece of small gold ultra wire. And wire can be a little tricky to tie in. Usually once you get it with some thread wraps, then it's not so bad. Now I'm going to tie this all the way back down to the tail. And now finally for the chenille, which I've already taken some and I've stripped it off. So I just have that bare cotton core to tie in. Gives you a little neater of a tie-in area. Just can be tricky to try to hold the material and get it tied in, at least for me. Everything's a little trickier for me, but and now I'm going to wrap this all the way up to behind the bead. Do a half hitch. And before I forget, try to get all this flesh. And I'm trimming it to just the length of the tail. Just like that. I'll swing my bobbin cradle over. And I've been tying quite a few of these. These will, if you'd like to try them out, they will be available at the shop, and I will leave the link in the description. And you can take them and test them out and let me know that you slay some really big fish on them. Get it with our handy dandy Hackle pliers. And it would really help if I could pull the material back, but I can't. So I've been just kind of holding it straight up to where it lays it on its side, and it seems to give me a better body that way. All the way up to behind the bead. Do that. And now I'm going to tie this off, bring the thread in a little bit. I'm going to catch it with 3 wraps keeping them kind of snug. And then I'm going to pull the material, or the chenille, and get it in my finger. There we go. I'm going to pull it back over itself and give it a few more wraps. And now I can trim out the excess without throwing my stuff on the ground. Careful not to clip your thread free. It'd be rather annoying. What I like to do is come around the bead and just trim it up a little bit, make it look neater, where I don't have a lot of the chenille poking out over the bead. Again, probably doesn't matter, but I just like these to look, I like my flies to try to look fancy. As fancy as I can get them anyway. Making me a little area to tie in the hackle. And the hackle I'm using, the ones they sent me, I think is a Chinese neck or Chinese saddle, which has been fine so far. Haven't really had too many problems with it, but get this tied in. Alright, we got our hackle tied in. What I like to do is try to push the stem up and get a couple wraps behind it. Try to help it from spinning or pulling free. And we can go ahead and trim out that tag in. I just like to try to get the area nice and cleaned out, smooth. Makes it a little easier for wrapping the hackle. Do a half hitch. Now on woolly buggers, we have done them on the channel before, but this is getting to the tricky part. It's not necessarily wrapping the hackle that's a challenge. It's trying to wrap the hackle and then get the gold wire. It makes it a little tricky, especially when you can't just grab it and lock in your hackle. Two wraps and then angle it back. And I like to take a full wrap right here in the back. That way, when I let go of this to grab my wire, then it makes it a little easier just to hold it. Although it did loosen up there, I seen it. And now with the gold wire, try to get it out of the flash and out of my marabou. I'm actually going to choke up some on the wire, so I got more than enough for this fly, and it'll just make it a little easier for me to, manage for this first part anyway. once I get the wire onto the hackle pliers, then I can take this hackle here and pull it, and I usually just have to let go and try to get it at least with 2 wraps, and I did. I got it. Now I can take these hackle pliers, hook my finger in them, pull it off, get my bobbin back on the cradle, and then start wrapping this forward. So that is really the tricky part of tying woolly buggers, especially if I have a wire rib. It's a lot going on to try to let go of one hackle plier, grab the other. Now I can get this out of the way, and I can tie off my wire. And again, I like to make sure this is nice and secure before I try to remove anything. So I don't want to have to try to redo it. And at this point, then it just wouldn't have a rib on it. So I think I got it good there. I'm gonna try to helicopter this off, which you can do with the hackle pliers on it, just like that. Now I'm gonna try to take the collar and pull it back, and just wrap a few more times. Trying to get any hackles that the wire might have pushed forward. And I have a couple here that are strays, so I'll get rid of them. I'll clean up the head. And like I said, the colors on this will probably change. I'll probably change the color of the thread, but for now, it gives it a nice little yellow collar, which again, I'll probably change. It's just one of them patterns I'm playing with. And now we're gonna whip finish. Trim our thread out, and come in the back and trim out the tip of the hackle without cutting your flash, as I have done that before. It's very annoying. I got a bit of flash that pulled to one side. I'm gonna see if I can fix that. There. And then as your tail dries more, you can take it and you can even brush it out just to help get the air in there where it gets all fluffy again. But that is what for now, I am calling the rainbow bugger. If you have any name suggestions, leave them in the comments. And I hope it's gonna be a good seller, and I hope it's gonna catch fish. But time will tell. If y'all like it, give this video a thumbs up. Subscribe if you're new. Consider subscribing. Coming into hunting season, as you've seen from the hunting video. So that was first trip of the year. There will be more. I have a fishing video I gotta edit up and get that out. So, and then we'll continue doing flies. And if you have any flies that you'd like to see me tie, leave it down in the comments, and I will see if I can tie it. But for now, that is gonna be it. Kind of a neat looking woolly bugger. I just thought this material would make a cool looking fly. But yeah, give it a thumbs up, and I will see y'all on the next one. Have a good one.